Good Wednesday morning. This is Larry Sprinkle along with Chris Mulcahy, and today it's all about weather. That seems to be the topic of discussion quite often. As much as we've been talking about Ida, Ida is still a part of our conversation. She will not go away. The storm is relentless. Obviously, what happened? It's just unfortunate what happened in New Orleans, that entire area down there. Now, the brunt of the storm was moving up to the mid-Atlantic states. Chris, they had this morning when I came into work about 2:30. I was looking at some of the data that was coming in. A lot of tornado warnings up around Baltimore earlier today, and that quite often happens when you have these tropical depressions spinning up these little tornadoes. But it was pretty severe weather across the mid-Atlantic states earlier today.
Yeah, and Larry, I was just reading the SPC, the Storms Prediction Center, out looking for the tornadoes. They're now up to a 10% chance around New Jersey. So all that you were seeing around Baltimore. And we saw this with Fred. When Fred moved inland, it was closer because it made landfall around Florida. So that was more of a direct hit for us for the center of circulation. Right. And that's why it's going to be so bad to our north. And if you look at any of the severe outlook for the Carolinas, it's further east and northeast because that's where the heart of Ida is going to be. And Ida is going to turn into what's called a mid-latitude cyclone. So that means that it's an L that you see on the map with a warm front and a cold front. And when those are super strong, that's everything to have a little tail to it. And that's what we're going to see today. So yeah, not a great situation in the north, but Larry, as you mentioned this earlier this morning, it's not as much of a big issue here in Charlotte compared to maybe what we had yesterday.
No, nothing. I mean, today, we have today is we have a few showers this morning, this afternoon. I mean, as we get into the afternoon, there's still an opportunity. I think a lot that would be east of here. We could see some strong thunderstorms, some showers. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate the fact that our temperatures are going to drop. It's only going to be the low 80s. I mean, a big shout out for that. And I think if there's any positive spin on what's going to happen is the fact it's going to be a much cooler situation with low 80s over the weekend. We are dealing with two other named storm systems out there. One is Kate, who's in the central Atlantic, and there's another one, Chris. That's Are you pointing at me?
I think so, unless your screen's reversed.
You're pointing your finger at me. Yeah.
Don't you do that, sir?
Yes. The name is Larry, by the way, and it's out in the Atlantic Ocean. Tropical storm will probably become maybe Category 3 hurricane, but I think all the models are indicating it's going to stay out there in the Atlantic. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I like what you call. I love this term. And as a meteorologist and weatherman, you're always just growing. And I never really heard the term fish storm. So that's pretty much what you're going to be. But you also turning into a Category 3, which would be a major hurricane. That would be the third major hurricane of the season, and that's usually the average, about 3. And a lot of them will just kind of die out where Larry's supposed to go. Yeah. The other two was Grace, Ida, and now we could have Larry. But Larry, you were talking about with your name attached to it, please just let this not be an infamous storm.
When we first started discussing the potential for an L name, and my name was mentioned, I really wanted to turn out to be something, just a wimpy little storm. It's not going to be wimpy. It is going to be a major storm. But and if you were talking about the fish storm, when I got in this business, but 36 years ago, and what was it? One of the older guys, Ron Kuhn from the National Weather Service, was talking to me. He goes, "Yeah, Larry, that's going to be a fish storm." And I went, "It's going to be what?" "Yep, out there in the Atlantic Ocean. The only people who are going to enjoy it is the fish because that's all it's going to affect." So that's why that's such a kind of a kinder name for what could be a terrible system.
Well, and this is going to be a hard turn just because you were talking about a fish storm. So I was watching this video the other day about how fish respond to storms.
Yeah.
Sharks especially. They have something on their skin that they notice the pressure changes, so they know to immediately get out of there. And it's usually the ones that don't want to leave, like seahorses, the ones around the coral reefs that usually have the worst off. But luckily at these depths, this fish storm isn't really even going to affect the fish all that much. So everything's good. But we have a couple of comments, Larry. Hope Tropical Storm Larry is not bad. And also, Liz, We love Larry. We wouldn't blame him for anything. So that's two good things for you.
Thank you, Liz. Very kind words right there. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Then there's there is another system in the south, I think, southern part of the Caribbean that has a slight chance of development. But we're in that time of the year. September 10th is the peak of hurricane season. September can be very, very active. You may remember September 22nd, 1989, right here in Charlotte, we had a hurricane that moved here by the name of Hugo. So we're not immune from having even those big systems come through our way. And then it lasts through November. And this, last year we went through the normal alphabet right into the Greek alphabet to name storms. It was so active last year, Chris.
Yeah, and one thing that's changed this year is you're never going to see the Greek alphabet again because it's confusing. Because when they first made this, they didn't think that they were going to go past W. 2005 was an anomaly, but now they're realizing that things are changing. That
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, chi, phi, psi, epsilon. It got really confusing when we're talking about it. The spelling, the pronunciation. So now there's another list created by the World Meteorological Society, the people responsible for that, another list of names, which I don't have, and hopefully we'll use them.
Yeah, hopefully not. And there is some talks that there could be maybe a shift to El Nino, which would slow things down, but we're still seeing a lot of activity. And Larry, I was dropping this fact yesterday, and I'll end with this, is that since the beginning of the 2020 hurricane season, we're only really halfway through ours, we have now had 18 storms make landfall in the United States, which on average, you don't have anywhere close to that. So that's showing well above average. So yeah, we're not done, but we can just keep fingers crossed that we see more fish storms than anything.
Without a doubt. So we'll be here. You can depend on us. In the First Warning Storm Center, the whole team will be here throughout the day, and we'll be tracking the remnants of Ida and a whole lot more. Hope you have a nice day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at about 8 o'clock, right?
That sounds like a good time. And by the way, thanks for all your comments, though.
Yes,
I just want to mention a few. At least Grace was mild. And then also, I will never forget Hugo. Let's not bring up Hugo, Larry. Yeah, I'm going to just keep these going for the rest of hurricane season.
Have a great day.